What's up? How you guys doing? My name's Hero. This is Coding with Strangers, and I want to talk about something. You know, as I get better at my web dev journey, the more I hear and the more I realize is, as creative as an artist I am, I just don't have the, como se dice, I don't have the juice for front-end development. Like, front-end developers are truly artistic with the way they can make words and numbers into art. And you got to have a certain level of riz and pizzazz, like, right? Because it has to be not only aesthetically pleasing, but it has to be user-friendly. It has a accessibility rating, and the accessibility rating has to be into it. There's a lot of people at designs that I truly look at. TG, I'll snap, and his picture and his link to his page will show up. His front end designs are so majestic, and I don't know if I'm more titillated by his wanderlust mustache or just how smooth his designs are. They're aesthetically pleasing. But a lot of people tell me that getting good at your design making really comes with you figuring out what your design aesthetic is. And I do have a design aesthetic. Unfortunately for me, my design aesthetic, a lot of people just don't like. It's not pleasing. And I think you got to be okay with being not wanted. It's sad. I know it's sad. Aww. It's sad. But there's a back end developer and a product manager out there for you. Okay, so don't give up. Clap it. You feel me? Don't give up, or else you'll beta. Don't give up. So imagine, if you would, you put your blood, sweat, and tears into developing templates and making sure, and not even like templates that you hog to yourself. These are templates you would give to like beginners, rookies, people who are learning how to do what you do and learning how to get better with it. And imagine the program that you use is Figma. And on day one of them releasing this wonderful technology with AI introduced, it immediately starts stealing your stuff and charging people for it, something you're not even charging people for. I try my very best to reason or give like people the benefit of the doubt, but these companies are heartless, man. And I get it. Like, that's why working for people, working in the industry is so daunting. And indie development is becoming more favorable because more than ever, people don't want to deal with the bureaucracy of knowing that something they created could be stolen by a company that is charging them money to use their company. And it's so annoying to know that nothing is sacred anymore. No integrity. Greed is just motivating everybody's actions. Well, how much more fucking money do you need? You got 2 yachts. You only have one body to be on one of those yachts at a time. But this is the dilemma we face. The definition of what's enough for one person is literally undefinable. But it should be reasonable. And one thing that should universally be accepted is stealing from the poor to make the rich richer should be a criminal offense. You feel me? On some Robin Hood shit, we need to go ahead and get the Nottingham group together. Lil John, what's good? So we have a story today out of Figma. I haven't got good enough to use this stuff, but I remember they had a big conference this past weekend, 36 hours worth of content, 36 hours worth of people presenting, and all of those presentations and all that goodwill charred up literally could have been destroyed not even a week later because corporate greed. Let's figure out what happened and let's see if it's a legitimate issue we're going to be facing here. Figma pulls AI tool after criticism that it ripped off Apple designs. Ooh. Figma says it didn't train the generative AI model it used and blames bespoke design system. Yeah, that's not a good look. We didn't do it. It was the company we hired. So you don't got nobody at your job to check the work? It's called a quality engineer. You should hire a few of them. That's what they literally do. Make sure your shit is quality. This is out of Jay Peters. This came out today at 3:15, hot off the press. Just in time for dinner. Figma new tool make designs lets users quickly mock up apps using generative AI. Now it's been pulled after the tool drafted designs that look strikingly similar to Apple's iOS weather app. Figma CEO Dylan, I'm going to call him Dylan because it's just funnier for me to say it like that. Dylan Field earlier on Twitter Tuesday morning detailing the removal, putting the blame on himself for pushing the team to meet a deadline. Way to hold yourself accountable. And defending the company's approach to developing its AI tools. I don't think you can defend yourself after saying you're taking responsibility for being wrong about something. It's too early. You don't get to decide if we can forgive you. Someone else has to. In a post on Twitter, Andy Allen, CEO of Not Boring Software, I never trust anybody with two first names, and Andy Allen sounds boring to me, showed just how costly Figma makes design tools made near replicas of Apple's weather app. Just a heads up to any designers using the new Make Designs features that may want to thoroughly check existing apps or modify the results heavily so that you don't unknowingly land yourself in legal trouble, Allen wrote. Yeesh. In a Tuesday interview with Figma CTO Chris Ramesson, I asked him point blank if Make Designs was trained on Apple app design. His response, "We couldn't say for sure." Yo, there's gotta be something in the water, man. I am tired of people who are in charge of knowing things coming on stage and saying we don't know. The same thing happened with OpenAI's girl, Myra. She comes on stage, hey, do you know if your AI things were trained on Facebook and publicly available YouTube videos? We don't know. That's funny to me. He couldn't say for sure Figma was not responsible for training the AI model it used at all. We did no training as a part of our generative AI feature. Ramesson said the features are powered by an off-the-shelf model and bespoke design system that commissioned, which appeared to be the underlying issue. Okay, so when we think about cell phones and apps, mobile apps, you only have really two choices. You either have Apple or Android. And for you to tell me that, let's just assume that it's 50-50, right? 50% Apple, 50% whatever. Or Microsoft or Android, whatever. You mean to tell me you don't know? You can't make a figure. There's almost 100% sure that 50% of your training shit came from Apple. That is blatantly clear, right? If you're making an app, even if you're making an app for an Android phone, you're borrowing aesthetics from Apple. Because even if the tools are better sourced on Android, we all know for aesthetic purposes, shit's gonna look better on an Apple device. The general matches something he said on Monday on Twitter in response to the user suggested Make Design. Okay, another thing, the Make Design as a name, that is not aesthetically pleasing. That's so damn hard to say. That's hard to say. You're saying it's debatable? Oh yeah, hey, you know what? You're absolutely right. I got the first phone I used to pull a girl and get her phone number was on an Android phone. Clap it. I ain't let I knew everyone had the Apple phone, but I ain't letting that phone stop me. I ain't letting no green bubble make me into a beta. You feel me? It's about your Riz. It's not about your phone. So I'm just gonna put that out there, okay? There was no training as part of the feature or any of our generative features, he wrote. We are looking into what extent the similarities are a function of the third party's models we are using versus the design system we commission to be used by the model. We will address as needed. Field in his own thread said that the make design feature is not trained on Figma content, community files, or app designs, and noted that the accusation around data training in the tweet are false. He said a problem with the company's approach is variability is too low. This is true, because if you told me to make a weather app, there's only the first thing you think about is the one that's on your phone. In fact, when you ask me what the weather is, I don't think of a weatherman anymore. I think of my phone. The weathermen are dying out there. So here's the tweet. Let's take a look at it, shall we? The weather app using the new make design features and results are basically Apple's weather app on the left. So the ones that were made by the AI were made on the right. This is the one of Apple on the left. And I mean, bar for bar, step for step, picture for picture, it literally stole everything. He stole my whole flow. I mean, it's pretty damning. I can't even lie. Like, the major thing that was changed is that it's a lot of everything's in a container, so it looks very close together, but they are stubbornly similar. But also, what more, like, how could you change, like, could you change this up? Could you change this up any further to make a reasonable change? Yeah, but is it still as impressive? Is it still as impressive if you know that it's literally copying it? Like, you showing me a masterpiece and then turn around and telling me, well, I traced it. If someone told me that the Mona Lisa was traced, it's not that impressive. To be quite frankly, it's not that impressive. Anyway, I feel like the Mona Lisa, if we're all being honest, she's a high 4. She wasn't that cute. A lot of people say, oh, it's such a great, she's a 4. What are we blushing at here? I see 4s every day at the gym. Wow, that's the problem with AI. And AI inherently can't add on to things until someone gives it something to add. So if I said, hey, I want a 3D rendition of the weather app where I can spin it around an axis. Okay, why isn't that innately the thing that it creates, right? Why isn't that innately the thing it creates? It's so mundane when AI is thrown into shit for clickbaity purposes. And therein lies the thing. Therein lies, like, I guess the broader point that I wanted to make here. Creative people do not find AI appealing. Lazy, money-hungry people find this type of AI to be interesting. Because I wouldn't want my creative thoughts to be directed to something that is already created. And let's just take into, I decided to make a weather app that spinned on the axis, like planets. That's interesting. That's enthralling. That's epic. That's going to be grandiose. That's going to be something fun to make. So whenever I hear somebody saying they want to use AI for artistic mediums, it makes my balls itch, because what is the point of having creativity if it's only going to make carbon copies of everything? The key AI model that power make designs, OpenAI's ChatGPT 4.0 and Amazon's Titan image generator G1, according to Ramzi, if it's true, the Figma didn't train AI tools, but were spitting out Apple apps lookalikes anyway, that could suggest that OpenAI and Amazon models were trained on Apple designs. OpenAI, Amazon didn't immediately reply to requests for comment. So for me, it's pretty blatant that they copied. There's no way around it. Whether you know that the training data, and that's another thing about, such conversations and topic, curating the data so that it is actual data that is good. Your AI machine, your AI models, your tokens, whatever bullshit you want to throw in there is only as good as the data it was trained on. It's the equivalent of a legendary manga artist, Akira Toriyama, passing away, and instead of you pasting or reposting some of his own work, you type into Midjourney and say, make me a picture of Goku with angel wings. And it spits out a dude with 7 fingers and 18 six-pack with wings on his shoulder instead of his back. It's it's disheartening. So it steals, this type of stuff steals from the creative juices of people. And I can get it being used as a frame of reference, a point of reference. If you have like creative block, sure. But at the end of the day, something like this, no one asks for this. No one asks for this. And the thing that's crazy is, if it has the balls to steal Apple's design, who's to say that it's not out here taking people's design for like training courses? There are people who have their work behind paywalls. What's to say that someone didn't pay for it and use that information and then throw it in there? It just sets a bad precedent. And this is the thing that I'm fearful with this technology. This technology is going to make it to a certain point, and then the people who are designed to make this better are going to be cut in half because they got eliminated from the process of getting better. I think someone like Tech Lead has been saying this for the longest. Oh, stop programming. The person, NVIDIA's owner, says, oh, Devin, we won't need programmers anymore. Well, whatever happened to Devin? Huh? Y'all remember Devin? Yeah, me neither. But I ultimately come to the point where, and I'll say this again, I've always said it before. AI is like Batman's utility belt. It's only as good as the person who's on it. And if you are not Batman, all you are doing is holding a heavy ass belt on your waist. You are not 6'2", 260 pounds and can bench press 1,000 pounds. It just doesn't work. But I don't know. This is disappointing. It's bad work to see. It's horrible to see because they just came back from a huge conference where they were pushing Figma real tough. A lot of people were excited, but so to hear that off rip is already stealing people's design, it's not good. And when you have a situation where you have AI being ran without carefully thought out plans with meaningful data behind it, you run into fuck ups like this, and this is unacceptable. But hey, clap it. I'm eager to know what you think about it. Like, share, subscribe. Hit my Patreon up. I'd appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, we're done.